gym life, it's like just get the most amount of food in, but then dude, you feel horrible.
People go on them dirty bulks that I used to do. This is when I used to consume just calories, not focusing on the nutrients. Boxes of cereal, processed sandwiches. Going back to that is my worst nightmare, how I used to feel compared to how I feel now. Wow.
Lewis Welsh. He's a transformation coach, entrepreneur, and the founder of Team Superhuman. With over 8 years of experience in transforming lives, Lewis has helped more than 1,000 individuals achieve their fitness goals. He's honed the perfect formula for what he calls the Superhuman Diet, enabling busy professionals to get lean, fit, and healthy without sacrificing their careers or social lives.
Let's get straight into it. So I've been following you for a while on Instagram.
Amazing,
I think
yeah.
when I started following you, you had, let me see, like 70K followers, something
Okay.
along these lines, which you've grown tremendously, which congrats, by the way. It's
Thank you,
amazing.
man.
And you
Thank
keep
you.
continually growing. So how did it start? How did you get into this?
So officially it started, I found myself in Bali through removing sugar mainly and going on a whole foods approach. Removing sugar, really focusing on myself, the physique, the energy every single day, and experimenting just with whole foods. This was for 60 days. 60 days. I went through a transformation and I found myself. And I truly did feel superhuman, invincible. And then I started creating and wanted to create then a brand around this aspect because I felt amazing. And I knew it worked because I always struggled with dieting, you know, low calorie diets, removing carbohydrates through certain periods, but keeping all of the foods together and prioritizing the nutrients and going for whole foods. I found myself, and this is essentially how the diet started, and then it's been tweaked along the way from removing certain starches over time, just through by practice, and then we've now helping many hundreds of clients worldwide inside of the business.
But what were like the problems before? So before when you had like the sugars, like let's say the typical
Yes.
diets, like they say high protein this and stuff like
Yeah.
that. What were the problems you were facing?
So I would be eating a lot of high protein foods, but going more for even fast foods, even high protein yogurts, added sugars, even added sweeteners, but I was still getting many cravings. And it was still very difficult for me to get lean and get into my best shape. So removing all of this excess processed food and just prioritizing the whole foods is when the magic happened. Yeah.
Really? But how did you even like, how are you like, because there's so many diets these days, there's so many ways to go about stuff. You have the vegans, you have the
Yes.
other people saying you should do keto, then you have carnivore. What made you be like, you know what, I think this is the right approach, I'm going to test it with this one?
Just prioritizing single ingredient foods. Nature's medicine, and avoiding every single additive, every single ingredient, just prioritizing the whole foods. Then the diet was being tweaked along the way. This is when the starch got really low, because I was eating oatmeal, I was eating more rice in the day, but then I experimented removing that starch.
Huge difference.
That's when the magic happened, because energy is very important to me.
But did you talk to someone, or were you like watching, like, let's say a YouTuber and something? Like, how did you figure out about it? Because most people, they don't know, right? They don't know this is the best way. So how did you get to that conclusion?
Yeah, so I've had many inspirations from many other videos. Many doctors, I won't get into two names, that got shut down by big pharmas and are more hidden now. And I'm in more group chats with these guys and getting excess info from extra memberships. So I've learned knowledge from these guys. Again, they go against the grain. So the reasons why around big pharma, the massive $1 billion industry, and they're really behind of they're in there for profits. That's the business.
Yeah. So before we
But
get
that's going down the rabbit hole.
yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot of information on that.
We're getting to that in the middle. So let's fast forward the entire process. It's good to hear. So how this came about. So I don't think I even told you, but basically, as usual, I see your videos and I enjoy them a lot because the way you go about it, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like And most of your content's like, okay, today I'm eating this. Let me just
Yes.
show exactly what's going, which
Yeah.
is amazing. Because
Mhm.
usually when you start this diet, even though it's like, I won't say it's the most complicated diet, it's kind of like simple, like complicated as in like, for example, keto, they tell you you have to add this much almond, you have to add this and
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah.
It has a simplicity, but then there's questions. There's like, okay, what's that? What should I eat? Can I eat that or not?
Mhm.
I was watching the video. I checked the comments, and someone asked you, "Where are you currently?" And then you said Dubai. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know he's in Dubai. I don't, for whatever reason, I always thought you're in Miami. I don't know why. And I'm like, okay, let me send that message. And that's how this whole thing came about, which I'm so happy you came on the podcast. But do you like Dubai? Is your first time in Dubai?
It's my first time in Dubai. I
First
like it here.
time, really?
I like it here. It's very safe.
Really?
I feel very safe here.
Yeah.
I like the weather.
Mhm.
I've come from, London, so
Are you from London originally?
yes, I'm from London originally.
A
Yeah.
lot of things going on in London right now.
Exactly, yeah. And it's not the safest.
Yeah.
So I feel very safe here. I can just crack on with work. It's quite inspiring to be here.
Mhm.
A lot of nice buildings. The service is excellent.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm looked after.
Yeah.
So it's a very great place. But I love, of course, the UK, family there, friends.
Mhm.
But for work-wise and progression, I'm enjoying Dubai.
It was the first time, but you've been traveling a lot. I think you went to America, right?
Miami was good
Everywhere.
fun.
Miami.
Yeah.
You went everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, Dubai and Miami, everyone compares them a lot. What do you
Yeah.
think? Like the differences in your opinion? Because I haven't been to Miami.
Yeah, so Miami is very, very similar to Dubai. Dubai, I would say, is more strict.
Mhm.
Dubai service, again, is very high. Miami is very, very powerful. You get a great service there. But I would say Miami is more wild and free.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot more wild and
Like
free.
safety-wise and everything, it's like a whole different story. But then, like,
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to fun, obviously Miami is like a lot more fun.
Yeah.
But then the safety-wise, you know,
Yeah.
it's but and also at the same time, it's like with Dubai and even the entrepreneurs, entrepreneur-wise, I feel like it's very similar. The same kind of like mentalities. But then for me, like one thing I found in Dubai, and I think you also realize as well, it's like a lot of people come from the UK over here too,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like, have you met these people? Like, I think it's first week in Dubai, or how long have you been in Dubai? I don't know.
I've been here now 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
So you're
yeah.
getting the full experience.
I'm getting the full experience.
Full experience. What's like the craziest part though? What's the part you didn't expect? You're like, damn, I didn't even know it was like this.
The weather to begin.
Yeah, you
Because
came in
the-
summer,
yeah,
dude.
the time I come, people were saying it's the wrong time for you to come. It's too hot at the moment.
Dude,
But for me, it's nice.
Yeah.
It does get a little bit too warm.
Yeah,
I'll go on a nice sunbathe maybe for 30 minutes.
yeah.
But it does get a bit, after that, it's too
Dude.
much.
Sometimes, and look, I grew up here, right? Since I was a kid, but man, it gets way too, like now,
Yeah.
especially this summer, I realize I'm like, this is why everyone goes to Bali and everything. Like,
Yeah.
everyone leaves. Like in Dubai, everyone knows, like, right now, everyone leaves.
It's half empty now, right?
Everyone
Yeah.
calls it like all my clients, because I work mostly with doctors. They tell me it's off season. Like
Okay.
everybody knows, like, oh, the clients are gonna go down. There's gonna be less patients. Business, even the studio over here, they're like, oh, summer, it's gonna be like dead in summer. Everyone knows it, and I don't know how they're gonna fix. Like they always talk about like this thing they do with the clouds, and I don't know if it's gonna get fixed, but yeah, next time for sure. Next summer, I'm not.
Yeah. I can see why people leave. Like when I first got here, it was more warm.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's cooling down a
Yeah,
little bit.
especially at night. It's
But
cooling
it
down.
was, yeah, because I was staying in Blue Waters first.
Yeah,
When I was going out at 1 p.m., no one was out.
yeah.
It was a ghost town. You wouldn't see anyone.
Even people who've lived here like most of their life, they don't go. And then
Right.
when the mentality is that everyone leaves during summer, then you have the big people who leave in summer.
Yeah.
Like all these like communities I hang out with, none of them are here.
Yeah.
They all stop everything, so it kind of also gets a little bit like boring. But there's always the good and bad. But anyways, so let's get into the other stuff. So, what do you think about the fitness community in Dubai?
Yeah,
It's interesting here, yeah.
it's very popular. It's a large
Yeah.
aspect. There's a lot of people in shape. People take care of themselves.
Mhm.
Similar to Miami, which I like,
Mhm.
which is very great. It's massive fitness in Miami. But I would say, yeah, it's of course we hear this a lot. It's a saturated market these days. But I would say it's just like anything.
Mhm.
But if you have the ambition to help people and you want to stand out and you feel like you have a strong message, then yeah, there's plenty of people to help that need the help.
100%.
So that is the main thing.
100%. So now we'll get into the real food diet and we'll start
Yeah.
getting into it. So what is a real food diet?
A real food diet is avoiding processed food, junk carbohydrates, seed oils, and applying yourself with single ingredient foods. That is all. Nature's steroids, which is going to be steak. Nature's electrolytes, which is going to be watermelon. We've got all of these aspects, and we're sold into products these days that are just full of additives, full of extra garbage that is harmful in our gut, not great for our skin,
Yeah.
and it will affect people's mental health, mood, energy, performance, their physique. So prioritizing real food is essentially focusing on single ingredients, single ingredient foods.
Yeah.
That is all, and avoiding the rest. And if people followed this, they'd lose weight naturally. The world would be a happier place, and a more of an attractive place. So this is the message we're aiming to fire out there.
Especially for like mental health. Most people think, especially when I talk about these kind of like diets, they think, oh, it's only for losing weight. It's like, no.
Yeah.
The
Way more.
mentality wise, it's crazy how much better you feel and everything. And everyone wants to go after these like quick solutions. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. When it's like, wait, but why don't you try fixing this first?
Yeah.
Eating properly. And exactly what you said, single ingredient, that's one thing that helps a lot. Usually if you go check something and it has like 5, 6, 20 ingredients, sometimes in this one thing, it's like, okay, maybe this isn't the best thing, you know? It's too processed, it's too manufactured. Now, one thing though, so yours, you call it Superhuman Diet, right?
Yes.
And then there's like, because see, there's this whole like community, like let's say
Yes.
the animal-based, the carnivore style. It's very geared towards that, right? Now, in that community, there's conversation of like, what is the best diet? And then there's like the other side. Now, me personally,
There's carnivore these days.
the carnivore.
There's
and
keto. There's a lot going on.
So much, and it sometimes it gets confusing, especially for example, if you would like start saying like, oh yeah, there's a lot of meat in diet, everyone thinks, oh, it's carnivore,
Yes.
and you can't eat that.
Yeah.
And then you have, because for example, Dr. Paul Sadian, he started with carnivore. That was his thing.
I think in 2018, right?
Yeah.
So 2020, yeah.
And he was full. He made a book called about carnivore.
Yeah.
But then he switched it and he realized like, okay, since I want to exercise more, I want to have more energy with my workouts and everything. He turned into animal based, which I think animal based is a lot more similar to the Superhuman Diet, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But would you say there's any differences in them?
There is differences. It's a very similar aspect because, of course, it's still single ingredient foods, but we still add in extra variables that potentially not in animal based, like sourdough bread, raw cacao.
That's what I want to talk about.
Sourdough bread, very great for gut health.
Yeah. But he says the opposite, right? He actually had a video about sourdough bread and he's like, it's not good. Like, this is why it gets confusing sometimes, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Don't know what the truth is. You don't know what's right or wrong.
There's a lot of arguments. There's a lot of arguments. But if you really just narrow it down and really focus on the single ingredient food aspect, this is the whole point. The world will be a just happier place, healthier place, fitter place. That's like the main message. That is like the main focus. And then, of course, if you're coming on the Superhuman Diet, it's removing that starch in the day to control your blood sugars, keep your energy higher, and to keep you fat adapted where you're using fat for fuel. That's what we want. But we're allowed the high starchy foods, but only in the evening meal, but only potato, sweet potato, and sourdough bread we are allowed.
Sourdough bread.
Yeah, which is very beneficial if it's from a trusted source.
Yeah, for sure. But and it's actually an interesting thing I want to ask you is like, since you're in Dubai now,
yes.
What are you struggling with finding the right food, or is everything like fine? Everything you want is there?
Everything is great here, except raw milk.
Exactly, because it's not allowed here.
Okay.
It's not allowed.
Yeah.
Because fun fact from your own video, I wanted not only raw milk. There's raw kefir. Correct me
Raw
if I'm wrong.
kefir, yeah.
I couldn't find
Very
that
essential,
here too.
great probiotic.
Anything.
Yeah.
I think in Europe and America they have a lot more, but here because
America,
there isn't
yes.
farms and stuff, they don't have it. So that's one of the things I struggled. I checked everywhere, and it was very difficult to find it.
I haven't found it yet. No,
and then like I did find like one website, but it's like a little bit dodgy. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
That's where it can be difficult. You have to ensure, this is why raw milk gets a bad rap, because potentially the sauce wasn't that great.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ensure you potentially speak to the farmer, how are the cows treated, and you want to ensure that it's a A2 protein rather than A1, because that causes a lot of digestive problems with people. Conventional milk.
And see, but it's
that's why dairy gets a bad rap, because it's the A1 casein protein.
For cheese, I found a few good options, but you know the people
Parmigiano, Reggiano, that's good. That's always safe. Yeah.
But this is the thing. Sometimes it's like, because the manufacturers, they don't care about like putting all the ingredients, like putting exactly what's going on.
Yes.
So it's hard. Like you have to really focus a lot on like, okay, is this the right thing? Is it not? And then mentality-wise, it's like it gets complicated sometimes. Like you do a mistake, then it affects you. Then you don't know, is it the food or is it me having the placebo effect?
Yes. Yeah.
These are like, for me personally, which we're gonna get into it later on. And that's why you're the perfect person to ask these questions to really get through it. And it will give people an idea, because you do coaching too, right?
Yes.
It give an idea of like how it feels. So a lot of cool things we're going to go through. But I want to go back a little bit. So processed foods. Why do you think processed foods affects us in this way? Me personally, I do feel it. And I have experienced like the difference. Why?
The reason, in terms of how our body processes and extracts nutrients, the body will not recognize food going in that has been processed, and you will not be able to extract the nutrients efficiently. When we eat a banana or a piece of steak, we extract the nutrients from the small intestine, and that's how we use that for energy. If we're eating food from a fast food meal, zero energy, zero nutritional value, which is going to provide us with zero energy. But we actually eat foods high in vitamins and minerals, which is going to be your organic fruits, and then getting in a lot of your essential aminos and your essential fatty acids, that's going to be from red meat. And then we utilize this for energy. So processed food is providing the body with zero nutritional value, and it affects people's mental health, their energy. I've been there because I've been addicted to, not massively, but I've been a binger on sugar. Wouldn't say addicted, but in my evenings, I used to binge on boxes of cereals, heavy chocolates. So I've been there and I can experience it. And my blood sugars were always high. I would wake up craving sugar. This is when I would start my day on pastry sometimes, not caring. End the day on boxes of cereal. I'd end the day on Cookie Crisp.
The brain fog, dude, is the worst. That's the one
and
thing.
it affects your mood. I didn't want to communicate the next day. It really affected how I performed. So, zero nutritional value when it comes to processed food.
And it's like, especially what you said, pastries in the morning. Something about having that bread in the morning, or like the cornflakes, like for the brain to be like, you know what, I'll just go instead for just like red meat. And it's so unorthodox, especially when you talk to like everyone else. No, that's crazy. Why would you even do that? You just have oatmeal or something, you know?
Yes, oatmeal,
That's one part. And especially, like, let's say you're like heavily into like the gym life, right? The gym life, it's like, just get the most amount of food in. But then, dude, you feel horrible. Yeah.
People go on them dirty bulks that I used to do. This is when I used to consume just calories, not focusing on the nutrients. Boxes of cereal. I used to get, if people are from the UK hearing this, a lot of meal deals from Tesco, which is just processed sandwiches, processed refrigerators, milkshakes.
And everything. And the price is sometimes good. So you're like,
and just focusing on calories. That was the concept many years ago.
I see.
And going back to that is my worst nightmare. How I used to feel compared to how I feel now. Wow. Yeah.
And you know what's funny? Especially like one thing I realized when I initially I did carnivore, which we'll get into that later. But I couldn't believe how I felt, and it was so weird for me. And I'm sure you went through this thing too. After like 2 weeks, when you're like, you feel so clear-minded, the way you sleep and wake up, just the entire feeling of it. Then you feel like this weird thing, like, what if I was like this from the beginning? And then you try to go and tell people, and everyone thinks you're crazy. And you're like, no, don't eat this. But everyone's so used to it. It's so advertised.
Yes.
That people think like it's insane. It's especially now, maybe less with this one, but with carnivore at that time, people thought I was losing my mind.
Yes, yeah.
But I was telling
You'll
them,
get comments. You'll get comments. Yeah.
Everyone thinks it's insane.
It's how we was programmed, you know? How we was brought up, what's been on the telly, advertisements. And you're sitting there eating steak and eggs.
They're not too happy about it.
It will stand out, yeah.
So what is gut health, and what is the important role does real food play in that?
So when it comes to gut health and improving how I improved my gut health, well, firstly, of course, focusing on single ingredient foods, really aligning on prioritizing such as supplementation, vitamin D, improving hair, sunlight, not drinking tap water as well. I've really moved from that long term.
In Dubai, they don't do that here, tap water at all.
No, yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
they know it's like, I think in the UK and maybe they did, but here tap water, they don't do it at all.
Yes, I've removed myself. I've dig deep massively down the rabbit hole of tap water and the documents, they don't lie, and the videos I've seen. So I've invested more into water, clean water. I know, again, it can be more expensive for some, but when you are investing in your health, I think that is the best investment you can make.
100%.
But a lot of people do have gut issues, and this will mainly come down to eating too much gluten, wheat, barley, rye, and oats, overcooked meat. This can be very dangerous.
Overcooked meat?
Overcooked meat.
Really?
Yeah, if you really overcook meat, it can be carcinogenic. Yeah.
I've never heard that before,
Yeah.
actually.
If you overcook meat, if people really burn the edges. Same as potatoes. If you overcook potatoes, like
Yeah.
you know the crispy edges,
Yeah.
really, really brown and burnt, that can be carcinogenic.
So when it tastes good, it's carcinogenic. And it gets good.
Of course.
It's weird, man, how it all works, right?
Yeah. There's a lot involved, yeah.
But the meat one, I never knew. I
Yeah,
never knew that
overcooked
one.
meat can be carcinogenic.
So is that why
The
whenever you cook
the
the
raw,
meat,
the greater, the more nutritious.
really?
Yes, yeah. So if you can eat medium rare,
Yeah.
rare would be always greatest. Yeah, I have tried some raw meat. I would never post it.
Yeah.
I know the comments would be,
Yeah, the fucking.
why would
loser
I keep
mind.
that to myself? Sometimes I might have it, I might crave it,
Yeah.
so I'll never post it.
like in
It's not going to help
In the
anyone.
big restaurants, the top restaurants, they serve raw meat. It's just people
Yeah.
don't
Yes.
people don't realize
Yeah.
it. It's actually very like
Again, if it's
normal
from a
here.
trusted source.
Yeah, exactly.
Extremely
That's the big
nutritious.
part. Yeah, yeah.
Very nutrient dense. Yeah.
Now, when it and this is gut health, like, is the thing going back to how the internet makes things complicated.
Yeah.
For example, Diary of a CEO podcast, man, he had like I think 5 different people for gut health, and each one of them were saying something different.
Yes. Yeah.
At this point, really, it gets really because that one's a doctor, but this one is not a doctor, but this one knows this and that. It's like, dude, what is the truth anymore? And then when you go deep like into the rabbit hole, you're like, okay, what? Who gets paid to say this? Who gets paid to say that? You know?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, okay, what is the truth? And I think for me personally, it went down to one thing: experimenting it ourselves, having
Yes.
the right mentors, or
Anecdotes.
going
Yes.
one way.
Yes.
Like for example, if we say we're gonna try this, let's give it 30 days. Let's give it 60 days. You know, like how you did in the beginning.
Yes.
Because then it can get really complicated.
Yes.
Especially people want to keep checking that content, this content. Everyone's saying something different. Especially like even if you go in a niche community, the animal-based carnivore people, everyone's saying something different. You have, for example, even when Paul Stodin, he was full carnivore,
Yes.
he would have arguments with Michaela Peterson, right, John Peterson's daughter, about in carnivore you should do this. So he said he believes you should eat like the liver, the other stuff that's not only like ribeye steaks and stuff like that. But then she was like, no, and she's been on that diet now for 3 years and she's striving. Then you have another person saying something completely different. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah.
what
There's
is
many
the
opinions.
truth now? You know?
Yeah.
Do you deal with this one? Does that happen to you?
Yeah, of course, we get many mixed emotions on the comments and DMs every single day on Instagram. People saying how much we've helped them, but then people disagreeing with some aspects. It's always going to come with it. But I know through our clients who we are helping, how they feel, and through my personal story, anecdotal, and going through those personal stories, you can't really argue against those on an aspect if something is working. We're helping hundreds in our program, and they're all thriving. Constant great reviews, so it is working,
And
and that's the main thing. We're helping a lot.
that
is
part
amazing.
is really important. This is why I really like your content. It's like you show it every day. You're like, hey, like this is like what I do every single day.
Yes.
You're showing it sometimes all the different meals that you're eating, and that part is really important. Because especially in today's age, we have people saying, "Oh, this is like the good thing. That's the good thing,"
Yeah.
but then they don't actually
They don't
sometimes,
actually
you
do
know.
it, yeah.
But you show it, which is really also really good for your audience and your clients and everything when they get to see this. Now, going back to that, so why the name? Why is that the concept Superhuman Diet? Is it because of what you mentioned, Bali? Because you felt like
Very good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I literally felt superhuman on my. It was more in my evening walks. I was more visualizing after a great day of eating during my 60-day transformation in Bali, and I was feeling incredible. And superhuman just kept coming to me, and I truly felt superhuman. I felt stronger, clear mental clarity, high energy.
Yeah.
Wanted to work, wanted to train. Everything just aligned with the superhuman approach, and this is how the brand started and the name. Yeah, and I truly felt like this, and now it's applying that superhuman body and health to your lifestyle. Feeling amazing, looking lean, looking stronger, and focusing on your health. Yeah.
Now, so first it started like that, right? You felt like it, and it felt like it's such a good name also to add to it.
Yeah.
Because as I said before, like when I also was kind of on it, I did feel that, especially
Great.
the mental
You
clarity.
felt superhuman.
Dude, it felt amazing. Like the mental clarity part, I'll never forget, because I think it was the first time I actually felt like that in my life, where I just ate and I don't feel crazy about it. I don't feel like I need to like go and lie down or
you
something.
eat and you don't feel like you've eaten, essentially, like in
The
terms of energy.
sleep,
Yes,
oh.
no afternoon dips. That's it. You just continue working.
It's
Yes.
amazing. And then like sometimes when I used to do work, out of nowhere, the neck starts hurting and everything. But on this diet, it was like, no, everything's so smooth, so how it's supposed to be. But the bad part is though, the moment you cheat, because there's no, that really doesn't exist over here. The moment you do it, you feel it. It's like, it reminds you. It's like, hey, your body's like, hey, you're doing good. Why did you do this to me right now?
I've experienced cheat meals, and this is something I would never go back to now. Yeah, never go back to. I'm very strict to my diet. Very, very strict.
Because, man, and then there's also the mentality aspect of it. It's like, okay, when you want to go back on the diet, because all the cravings come back. It's like, it's not like, it doesn't work the other way around. It takes a long time to get used to that, but it will be very easy to go back to the old ways, which is really weird. But anyway, so now the Superhuman Diet, right? What services do you guys offer? How does it really work? Let's get into that.
Yeah, so we have a body transformation program, and we're helping hundreds of clients worldwide, all the way from Australia back to the UK, Europe, even some clients in India now are joining our protocol, which is amazing. So we have a team of coaches specified to help them in each area, and we help them achieve a transformation. So it's a holistic, we get them a body transformation, lean, sculpted. We want clients transformed so well where they walk in a birthday party, you know, and people ask, what's happened to you? Clear skin, thicker hair, more energy, and a brand new physique. And this is how we're helping many, and the impact is crazy.
So you've built a full team now, yeah? So do you train the people in the team to take care? Because
a full team, yeah. I'm very grateful now, yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing for me. So what is the right audience for this? Who would you say, like who's watching right now and it's like, you know what? This is the thing I need to go after.
People that want to prioritize their health, that have struggled with dieting for many years, and want something on a sustainable aspect and a lifestyle, and want to stick to it long term. We don't want people on for 12 weeks. They achieve a transformation and they go back to many cheat meals, going back to their old habits. We want people sticking long term with us, and this is what we teach through that as well. So it's sustainable, it's a lifetime aspect. The majority of our clients are between 30 and 60 years old. Maybe own their own businesses, work a stressful 9-to-5 job, this sort of niche, and they just need help with their energy, struggling to lose weight, hormones are all over the place, testosterone might be a little bit lower, and this is how the biomarkers all improve through our coaching and our diet protocol and the training.
I see. Yeah. Now, could you share with me a story, like one of the success stories, because you've coached many of them, one of the ones that stands out for you?
Yeah, so Stevie Ritchie was an incredible story, which ended up in many newspapers.
Really?
Yeah, in the UK.
Oh.
Daily Star, The Sun.
Interesting. What happened with them?
The times, a very great transformation. We lost 56 pounds of fat in 16 weeks. Just over 20 kg. Very fast, very efficient. He got new roles for his job as well, as he's an actor.
Yeah.
He got new roles there. And the transformation was mind-blowing. The connection we have now, the relationship, is amazing.
So he lost 20 kg. But isn't that like a bad thing if you lose this much weight?
Of course we track all biomarkers, hunger, energy.
It was very calculated.
Everything was calculated. He had no hunger alignment, so we just pushed. He was feeling great. He still had high energy. So you can go faster with fat loss and you can go slower. We pushed faster because of how he was feeling. Because we prioritized the nutrients. We fit those nutrient targets.
It's like he felt better and everything. And now it's part of his lifestyle. He didn't like stop it and everything.
That's it. It's part of his lifestyle. This is what we want. We want to get the message out there to help people in our program, but then they learn through that and then they can apply this for the rest of their lives. Because we know clients are not going to be with us forever. Yeah. But we want them on to learn,
get the
take this on
to be able
and live the lifestyle. Because how I feel every day, I want people to feel that. And experience that.
How amazing would it be if we had like one of these fast food options that was just like this type of diet, man? Like everything they serve would be from this. How amazing would have that been, man?
You're giving me ideas.
10 times easier, man. Yeah. Like we had like the Chipotle, but like the version that like works for us, because man, that would be amazing. But I have like a little hack that I do that helps me a lot. So in Dubai Mall, have you been to Dubai Mall already or no?
Which one? There's a few.
No, the Dubai Mall, the big one, the one that's close to here, the one
by the Burj Daman.
Yeah.
I've been there. Very good. Yeah.
There's one restaurant, takes us to Brazil.
Okay.
They serve like meat and everything. They cook it there and then they serve it to you and everything. So my hack is I always just order from there, because my problem is when I don't have time to cook and I need steak.
Seed oil free.
Yeah, it's like they're always cooking it. Good. They just bring it for you, and they found a way that it doesn't like become like cold. That's something really important. I can't have cold meat. I just don't like it. Okay. So that one was a really good hack in Dubai, because in Dubai it's like they do not care. They just want the fast food options, the easy options. What they label as healthy,
I've seen there's a lot of temptation out here.
Yeah,
I've seen. I went to JBR.
Yeah.
There's a lot of temptation. I can see why people will struggle here. Pancakes, ice cream everywhere, milkshakes everywhere, Cheesecake Factory. Seen that all. the Middle Eastern culture, the way we have our diets, is something really interesting. And I don't know, do you have a lot of Persian clients or Arab clients? Not many. We have a few, not many. A low percentage. In my opinion, if you guys start targeting them like efficiently, you'll get some crazy results and go after new. And I'll tell you why. One of the reasons I feel like, especially in the Middle East, diets aren't done right. If you look at the way they eat their diet, like the pyramid, dude, every single thing we eat has a lot of rice in it. It's crazy, and the proportions don't make sense. It's not like 1 cup of rice, 1 big steak. It's like, no, it's more like 3 cups of rice and 1 big steak, which they have like kebabs instead of the steak. Okay. It's very too much starch.
Too much. Yeah. And the time that they eat the food and everything, it's very different. And then for breakfast, you have a lot of bread with a lot of what's it called, like
juices,
cheese and everything. But the cheese is not the raw cheese. It's like a very different cheese.
Maybe orange juice with added sugars.
So then if you always see these guys, they have like the guts. The gut, it shows like they have a belly, but then everything has like the skinny fat, right? Type of body. Yeah. Which I think that one's a really good one to go target. And I personally, like we have like in America, in the UK, right? Yeah. We have a lot of people, but we don't have one for like, let's say Dubai, for example. There isn't that guy who's coming. Have you met a guy, or do you know like a guy who does? I don't, and I think it needs one. And whoever does it, dude, they're gonna make a lot of money. One guy that comes and says, "Hey, go do this." Like in America, they have Dr. Paul. They have Canada, they have Michaela Peterson, who's like going with the diet. She calls it lion's diet.
The lion diet, yeah.
That's what she does. But that was like the extreme, like the radical. And I started with that one. I'll talk to you about that.
I think she has a ribeye steak for lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
It's crazy. Yeah. And then Jordan B. Peterson, her father has the tenderloin, I think. No, strip loin, 3 per day.
Strip loin, that's it, yeah.
Dude, that's like a different level, man.
Just water and salt, yeah.
But then they, for example, they don't like to exercise that much, which like, this is the way I think about it. When it comes to like the optimal diet, like what's the best one? Now,
carbohydrates, for performance. Yeah.
exactly. I feel like if you're a performer, like if you work out a lot, you want to walk around a lot and everything, animal-based diet, superhuman diet, these ones are optimal.
We keep the carbs in.
But
it's
if
balanced.
if the person's not exercising that much, they have like very chill workouts, like 30 to 4 minutes, not like HIIT training and stuff like that. I would say carnivore, 100%. Like if you have like a sitting job, 9 to 5, and you don't work out that much, you only work out 2 to 3 times per week, carnivore, no doubt, because the carbs, they don't get used if you're not, and that becomes a problem. The energy source doesn't go somewhere. That's one thing through my own experience I saw. And do you have that with your clients or no?
Yeah. So as an example, if we take on someone with diabetes and they have like 100 pounds to lose, we would give them carbohydrates, but it would be certain carbs, low glycemic carbohydrates. So we wouldn't go adding in mass amounts of maple syrup, pineapple, raw honey, not loads, because it's very fast glycemic. It's going to spike their blood sugars very high. We would fill up more on eggs, a lot of good meats, but a lot of berries, because they're very low glycemic and they will control their blood sugars. But we give them a good amount of carbs to activate brain function. 100 grams of carbohydrates per day, glucose, will help with brain function. So we apply that, but with the right carbs. Yep. So not too much fast acting. We wouldn't give them the sourdough breads or the potatoes or the sweet potatoes, not even in the evening, or the rices. Very low in nutrients. We'd focus on low glycemic carbs, such as the berries mainly, maybe some papaya, which is good on digestion as well, and then just lots of butter, salt to control their blood sugar, and lots of eggs. That's how we would do it. But we still bring in the carbs, but certain carbs.
I see. That's really interesting. Now, going back to the big pharma and the commercial interest in this. Now, first I'll give you it's how I see it, and let me know how you think about this. So first, like the whole transformation part for me happened when I was in Canada. I was in Canada, and dude, the food there and everything, it's very different. And one thing I realized is like, okay, going towards like eating steak, going towards like the real food kind of diet was kind of like expensive over there. It didn't really work out. There's workarounds, but it didn't really make sense. And the things I was eating, I didn't feel good. Once I figured it out, and the way it happened was interesting. The way I got introduced to this whole world was Joe Rogan had Jordan B. Peterson on his podcast.
Yes.
And Jordan was talking about his experience with it. And for me, it was like crazy. I was like, just meat? It doesn't even make sense. Like, how is that the right way? But and Jordan, one thing we know about him, he does a lot of research. So I'm like, he would never get into something and come talk about on the podcast if he hasn't researched. Now, he did say himself, he's not a nutritionist, he's not a doctor, like with specific stuff like this. But then I tested it out. Once I did it, I was like, what is going on? This is crazy. I've never felt this good. And that's when I started realizing like what's going on. Like there's a lot of commercial interest. There's a lot of like the food industry. It's a lot easier to profit out of processed food rather than this. Like for example, I always ask myself like, do the vegans actually feel good? But then you go and see the commercial interest. Dude, how much cheaper is it to not use milk in the chocolates? How much more money do you make? Because it's funny. For example, the vegan chocolates, right? It's more expensive than the non-vegan, but it's cheaper to make those. And then you have the big pharma. People get into this. So many people go into like these rabbit holes of like what's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of research on that.
So for me, what I've realized is like, okay, it's not that people like this is not the right way. It's more like there's so much money involved in this. We're so deep into like let's say the brainwashing and this is how it's done. And then we also have the exceptions. You have some people that eat McDonald's completely fine. Like everything, they'll do better than the guy who's like not even doing that. But then I also have a theory that those people that they do good at McDonald's, I feel like they would even do better if they go on. There's always that side of it. But that's the way I see it. Now, what's your perspective on this when it comes to big pharma, the commercial interests and stuff like that?
Yeah. So first of all, not going massively down the rabbit hole, but big pharma make billions per year. And in terms of many studies, if you really align the research and how some of them are funded, it will all come down to the aspects of how profits are made. When it comes to the food system is way upside down. And it's all in for how the companies are all linked together. There's a picture I have on my phone, which is incredible. How everything is linked together. The companies that are making the most money, and where the food is distributed, and the food, what it contains. And it's all the processed food, and they're all linked together. And it all comes down to the most profitable companies in the industry. That the ones that are making the most profits. So yeah, in terms of becoming extremely healthy and going against the system, there's no money in a healthy human when it comes down to that. When you go against the system. I haven't visited doctors in years, and I wouldn't. So not for my general health. Broken arm, you know, broken foot, then yes, you're going to need that support. But when it comes to general health, applying your own research and hearing personal anecdotes, and especially all the clients in our program, just constantly hearing that thriving, it's all now starting to come out a bit more of what actually works. Slowly but surely we are getting there across everyone that is promoting the real food. It's slowly getting there. Eddie Abu is one big in the industry at the moment as well, who's promoting real food. It's slowly getting out there, which is great. Yeah, I don't see him as competition. I see it as a great message that he's helping a lot of people. So it's good to see that it's becoming popular.
I think the moment it goes to the next level is when we have that fast food chain, honestly.
Yes.
When we have that one place where you're like, okay, if I order food from here, I can trust, like, okay, they've done the research, they've done everything right. That's the game changer. That's the one I think is... because like when you look at like the...
Because that will help the 9 to 5 workers on lunch.
Exactly.
That are going to get processed food, quick, convenience. This is the problem, convenience.
Yeah.
People just stopping by at McDonald's in their car. This is the problem, the main aspect. If we're getting people metabolically healthy and actually have healthy food chains with real food, it's going to be a game changer. And this is what we want. We want a healthy population.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the Superhuman Formula Diet, the coaching, do you guys only provide like when it comes to diets or fitness? Because I know you're also very active with fitness too.
Yeah.
So it includes both of them. You also tell them like the workouts and everything.
Yeah, we have phases of workouts depending on the client's start point. So we take a health and body audit to begin with, which is analyzing their physique, posture, body fat percentage, where they need to work on. We check the chest, rear delts, what needs to be prioritized. And then we structure this training plan for them. Are they a beginner, intermediate, advanced? And then the training gets prioritized depending on their level and what they have access to. If they can train 3 days per week and plus the Superhuman Diet tailored for them, we're helping them lose 1% of fat each week. Yeah, so everything gets tailored. So there's certain requirements you need to do to join in terms of training, but it will be prioritized depending on their level and if they have any injuries. But we provide training phases. Oh yeah,
I see.
It's very important. Yeah.
So you're very big, obviously, on the diet, the training, and everything. So what does a day in the life look like for you?
A day in the life.
Yeah. So how does it start? And now you did send me one voice note before of like how your schedule usually is, and I found it really interesting. So what does a day in the life look like?
So a day in the life. So we start off. Now we're getting up at 6:30 a.m. We go straight into the cold shower for 1 minute. 1 minute, 60.
Well, in Dubai, it's not really cold, the showers.
I would go in the ice bath,
yeah,
but I don't have access to one at the moment. So it's a cold shower. That's like my morning caffeine to begin. Wakes me up. I don't really want to do it. And that's my first win for the day. Then I go in and make the bed. That's another win. Takes me 2 minutes. Then I hydrate with Celtic salt every single morning. Hydrate 1 liter of water, pour some Celtic salt in here, hydrate efficiently.
What's that? What's Celtic salt?
Celtic salt is high in potassium, magnesium, electrolytes.
Electrolytes, yeah.
Very great.
Yeah,
it has 82 minerals.
Yeah. So every morning you put that?
Every morning.
Even when you're not fasting, you still put it? Because usually they call it fasting salt, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I'm fasting, I would drink black coffee, but I would hydrate in the morning because we've been fasting through sleeping. Now we're going to be electrolyte deficient. So I ensure that I'm hydrating efficiently with the Celtic salt in the morning.
So you do that, then what goes on next?
Then I read for 30 minutes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I learn something new in the morning. I like to
Makes
kickstart my day with some knowledge, with some new brain power. It wakes me up. I feel good, and then I get straight to work. Yeah,
Straight to
it
work.
will be. It could be anything, depending on what I writ down the next day. It could be client work, it could be content planning, it could be speaking with my Slack team. Maybe a task that I missed from the day before, but I would prioritize this. I'll do a 3-4 hour work block, have some black coffee within a couple of hours, and then work till 12, and then eat my first meal.
Then eat your first meal.
Yeah,
There.
I do no calls though before 12 now. So I just work on email reply, content planning, client programming, anything like that.
Yeah.
Getting the hardest parts done.
Yeah. The
Then
most brain functioning, like the parts you need, you get it done.
Yes.
But then with the talking and stuff, then you eat before that.
Yes, then I eat at 12, and then I go train at about 1 o'clock, 1:30.
So like, let's say like 1 hour before training you eat?
Yeah, 60 to 90 minutes. If it's a big meal, I'll go about 1:30. If it's a medium meal, I'll go train at about 1 o'clock. Yeah, around there.
I see.
And then I'll have calls from 4 o'clock. And then, I'm on calls till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then I'll wind down. Maybe go for a walk in the evening. Yeah, to control my blood sugars.
I see. So it's a very calculated approach.
It's a very calculated day. I'll work off a Google Calendar.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
you travel a lot. How does that like affect, and like doesn't it make it difficult? Especially the waking up time and everything. You have to keep changing the cycle.
It really doesn't, man. It's the same everywhere. If I'm in Spain, if I'm in Dubai, the same routine, the same morning routine. Cold shower,
Same.
make my bed, hydrate with Celtic sea salt, read. It's the same everywhere, and I like to keep it that way.
But what if like on the weekend, like you go out? Doesn't that affect sometimes? Because what I realize whenever I get on such a good schedule, that one night, you know, then it just like it reverses everything. I don't know. It's like this weird thing that happens. Do you have those? Like, do you club? Do you go clubbing or no?
I used to. Yeah, of course. In my early 20s, I had a lot of parties and fun.
Yeah.
No regrets. You know, I used to have a lot of drinks every Saturday. Had great fun. But now I'm not. Yeah, I've really fallen out of the party aspect. I'm more just focused on work.
So nothing keeps you up at night. Like nothing. Like no, there's no reason. Like there's no. Because usually I would say people like they stay up if they go to like a club or something.
It might be dates.
Some
dating.
Dates. Yeah,
I think that's very important for a man to bring that into his life.
Yeah.
Focus on.
It's difficult on this type of
personal
diets, by the way.
Friends. Yeah.
But it's hard on this diet. There's one thing I experienced that I want to talk to you about. Did it ever affect? Did you ever see like with your personal like friendships or anything? Like they all go to a restaurant, right?
Yes.
And everything.
It can be difficult.
How do you deal with that?
First of all, if you're, so you're going to get comments. Your friends should understand, but you will still get comments. You'll get some people laughing. But I think it's very simple eating out because the majority of restaurants sell salmon. The majority of restaurants sell steak.
Yeah.
So when I go out, I just order meat and keep off the carb. 90% of the time. But if I do see a nice dish with some potato, I will ask the waiter, can I cook this in butter? I usually say I'm allergic to seed oils. Can you cook this in butter for me? I may have some potato in the evening, but I usually would just get a good quality steak when I'm out, and I find it very easy.
But with McDonald's and these, it's very difficult. I saw you made one video.
Yeah,
Dude,
I made one video.
So much backlash for that, and I was confused because I knew where you're coming from. I know that McDonald's they have like the 100% meat and everything.
Yes, exactly.
I know this,
if
but
people do the
comments,
research,
they don't.
Yeah, no one, of course, is going to do the research on that. But that was me being honest again.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with my content and what I eat. I post everything. Like if I was going to have a cheat meal, I'd post it on what it is. But my cheat meals are steak and potatoes out.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like you shouldn't have said cheat meal, because when you say cheat meal, they think of it as like, so I think you should have just said, because I know this because when I was on Carnivore, I was like, okay, what if I really need it? We're out with the friends and I need to find something. Like, for example, I checked the other fast food chains, they don't have 100% meat, it's like 80%.
Exactly.
But McDonald's
You've done
was
the research.
100%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I think
It's
if you
not
said
the
it in
best
that
quality.
way.
I understand it's not the best, but I was fasting a long time. I was going to get a lift in. And that's why I posted it and I was honest.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you have to, and this is the thing, like being the radical with everything, it becomes a problem. Like the mentality should be, and this is why I think it's really important. Just like understand, sometimes if it goes wrong, if it, like for me, I do believe it's better to eat the 100% meat from McDonald's rather than not eat for 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
I feel like that is better. Like obviously if people are fasting, it's a different story.
Yeah.
But but I do see like where you're coming from. But that's the thing. Like for example, Dr. Paul Sadino, and I keep talking about him because that's how initially I got like most of my information from years and years ago. When he went from carnivore to animal based, that was because he made a whole book.
Yeah.
And it was like,
And he was vegan before that, right? I think
he was vegan, and then he did keto.
he was keto,
and then he went to that.
I know he's changed around 5 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes some time to really find out what works for.
But he got
each
a
individual.
lot of backlash because he had a lot of people hating on him, right?
Yeah.
A lot of enemies. And then the moment he changed, that's when everyone, all the people came back. Oh, see, he changed. Like carnivore is not good. Then the carnivore people get confused too, right? So there's a lot that goes into it. But talking about that, so right now, okay, you have the business, you have everything going on. How do you stay motivated to this? Like, what are the problems? What are the challenges you're facing right now, right? Because, you know, level up, keep going up. What's the new challenge? What's the thing that's like...
Yeah, I mean, what keeps me motivated is the mission to get the message out there. There's many problems every day. I wake up, 20 WhatsApps when I check after my morning work. It's very stressful. It never changes. It never gets easier.
Yeah.
But what keeps me going is actually the positive messages that we get from our clients. And knowing that there's still, when I went to America, there's still many people that need help.
Yeah.
So it's just putting that message out there constantly and constantly repeating it. Like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm going to be repeating this message for a very long time. We've been programmed for ages to be eating this, that, and that. I'm going to constantly keep repeating this message to help as many people as possible. And if my content piece helps one person, that's great. That's all that matters, regardless of the haters.
Yeah, because people always say, and even me, whenever I tell them this is like the best side, like, gosh, why do you keep repeating yourself? I'm like, dude, like, you guys will repeat every other BS that's out there.
Yeah,
but then when it comes to this, it's just like a mentality thing. And you know, one thing I realized, I do like the people who really want to improve themselves. They care about themselves. Everyone else just like ignores these things. I have a friend, okay? This is actually an interesting story to get into. He's gonna watch this. He's gonna get mad at me. Who cares? He talks to me about his problems, right? About like, I can't go do this work, or I can't do this. I don't feel motivated. I'm like, dude, try fixing the diet once. Maybe you waking up and eating all this bread with this like, maybe that's what affects you. But they don't even want to give a chance. But if you tell them, go to a doctor and like, I don't know, do like Ozempic or some BS like that.
Yes.
Oh, this one said it that. And also I have another, this is a very controversial opinion I have. And I got so much shit for this. Especially because I work with a lot of doctors. So for me, I will rarely take advice from someone. For example, I will not take nutrition advice from a guy that does not look like how I want to look like.
Yeah.
If he looks like this and he doesn't look like the healthiest, it's like, okay, so he knows the information and why he's not applying it to himself?
Exactly.
Now, I'm not saying it doesn't need to be like a giga chat. It doesn't need to be like the Buffett's gang, but like, I don't know if that's like the thing. Maybe his advice works, but for people who want to go towards that, like if you were coming and saying, okay, guys, this is what I believe is the most optimal thing, but you're not even healthy, you don't even feel good. It doesn't really make sense.
Exactly, yeah.
That's one thing really important for me. If I'm going to take advice from someone for like, let's say gut health, is their gut health good?
Yeah.
We have so many situations this happens. I remember, dude, I went to a nutritionist once. The guy is fat.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know, man.
Exactly.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. And then people always use that example. Is the football coach always like the best football? And it's like, no, it's a whole different philosophy, the way that things work. this is one thing like I realize, and I'm sure like you deal with this like a lot with people always texting you, telling you, oh, I don't know, this is difficult. You can have a McDonald's sandwich like over here and there. I think that's something. So especially when we're sending WhatsApp messages, I think this is like a lot where it comes from, right?
Yeah. What, as in having the balance, like 80-20? This is what I'm against.
It doesn't work.
It's only, as in, like, I put a post up recently regarding the transformation on a balanced diet where I was. Balanced diet, because I used to even used to eat healthy and then maybe have a couple cheat meals on the weekend, was in my early 20s. But then after them cheat meals, I'd be craving the next day, wake up high blood sugars. So balanced diet didn't work for me. Going all in, being 100% worked for me. And something that I like to do. And I get it, it's restrictive and it is difficult for some. But if clients can apply that and even go 95%, 5%, if they want some downtime, maybe with some alcohol, but then they can revert back to the diet the next day, then they're still winning. They're still winning. But if they're looking forward to that cheat meal every Sunday, and then they find it difficult to get back on the next day, then it's not going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth it. Depending, again, each individual is different. Some people can have a cheat meal or have something off plan and then revert to it the next day. But then some people can't. And I was one of those. I'd have a couple on the weekend. I could never revert back to it. Just hormones out of whack.
I see. Yeah.
Cravings starting to be applied again. So it's very difficult. So I like to be all in now and be very strict. Yeah.
Now, before we get into the next topic, I just want to touch on one more thing you mentioned. You said dating. Dating is really important for men.
Yeah.
And I saw you got a smile on your face when you said, so what, is that because you're talking to a lot of men these days and you do realize like there's a certain issue? Because me personally, I'll give you my perspective on that after you give yours. So.
Okay. So no, I would just say dating it's very healthy for a man to
go on a lot of dates. It is.
Yeah. Well, to have female conversation if he wants to find his partner. But I'm very strong on strong connections and relationships. So
how's dating going for you though?
It's very
You're traveling a lot. How are the girls in Dubai compared to Miami to here? Or maybe you're dating. I don't know.
No, dating life is it's I wouldn't say but I would say I'm ready for that next stage. To the family lifestyle. Yeah. Ready for that, but it has to be the woman I think that will align with my values.
She has to eat, the Superhuman Diet.
She has to eat this.
If she doesn't,
she has to eat the Superhuman Diet, of course.
Dude, that's what I struggled with. I swear to God, man. I'm telling you, this is why. Because dude, these girls, they eat like, I swear, they wake up with a Coke Zero, and
Coke Zero,
and then just like a croissant, like some eggs in it and stuff. And it tastes good and everything, but it's like, man, I can't do it. And then you tell them that like, stop it.
They got to have some like values with your lifestyle.
Dude, we need a Superhuman Diet woman version to come out. Dude, we really need, and I see it slowly. Do you know the guy who creates? Because I feel like you guys also like in your community are connected to all of them. You know the guy who says Sorted. You know that guy who does content. He's also around this style. But his thing is he does like. So I think his name is Joey.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about or no? Maybe not.
No.
But there's another female version that like he also creates content with. And I think it's really good. We need a lot of like the female influencers. They need to stop saying vegan cookies. They need to come and talk about this because
steak for breakfast.
Dude, the amount of times I talk to a lot of girls like they're having a lot of problems and I'm like, dude, what diets are you guys on? They think they're allergic to meat and it's like, dude, I don't know, man. It's like it's really weird and I think they need it, man. But none of the girls are coming because it's not sexy to talk about that. It's not attractive. It's yogurt bowl with the
granola.
The granola looks a lot better than I'm eating a steak.
Yes.
And maybe for guys it will not be attractive for like a girl but that's one thing.
Carnivore girls are hot.
Dude, because they're healthy, honestly.
Yeah.
The amount of girls and dude, you went to Miami, yeah. Dude, let's be honest, okay? What a weird life schedule and everything. It's like, dude, they sleep late, they eat horrible, and And then what ends up happening is you can't think properly. You can't do things properly. You can't have a relationship properly. So that's one thing for sure. That's actually on my list. And whenever, quite literally, I go out with a girl, this is one of the things I ask her. I'm like, what do you think about carnivore diets and animal-based? What do you think about meat? If they tell me like, vegan and like
that's
vegetarian,
make or break.
Quite literally. And people tell me, Kash, you're so crazy. What do you mean? It's like, no, dude. Because for me, right off the bat, I know, okay, this individual, they have brain fog during the day or not. Can they think properly? Can they do things? And you do see the difference between the girl who has like an actual healthy diet and not. That's one thing. I do believe we need a lot of that to go out there. But with dating specifically, is when you talked about it and why I asked you, because you travel a lot. You get to like meet a lot of different people over there. Now, me, initially, the first video I put out there, it was about dating in Dubai.
Okay.
That's what ended up like doing well. Okay. And I do believe that guys, we need to come and have the conversation more, but more like in a normal dating sense. Like the way you mentioned it, I liked it. Like, yeah, we need to go out more. We need to have more conversations.
Yes.
Because we have
two
radicals right now, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have the radical like, dude, don't go on dates. Go just do the stop caring. And then you have the other radical that's like the soybean guys and like everything, you know, that how they are. We need the middle ground. Like I do agree with you. We need to go on more dates. We need to like go.
Because everything is all it's Instagram. You know, people go on the Tinders, the Bumbles. It's all online, and you can't beat that human connection.
Exactly.
Like, that organic chemistry. I've met some great women that are now friends in the supermarkets. You know, just bumped in. Now they're friends. You know, just
go talk to them, have a conversation. How wasn't the old days?
organic connection is fantastic. Yeah.
And one thing I realized that actually helped me a lot, because I'm gonna be honest, I was on Hinge, I was on these dating apps and everything. Never really worked, but I do also go up to girls like in real life and everything. But one thing I realized made a big difference for me, finding the people I want, not only towards girls, just even the guys that I want to like build business connections with or hang out with, was me creating content myself, but not content that is like fake. It's like, this is me. Like for example, the content you create, right? You find more people like you. And I feel like that's one really valuable aspect of it.
Yes.
And I think it's important. Like in Dubai, you have all these guys throwing the supercars and this and that, but it's like, who are you going to really attract? And I think that's something really important. That's what I realized made a difference for me, which now that we're talking about content creation, I want to now, let's divert a little bit away from like the food, Superhuman Diet and everything. Because one thing really interesting about you, man, started creating content. You grew fast, you know, you did have really good growth. And I love the way you create content, but I want to get into it. So the person who's watching this, let's say they just like the way you create content. They're not really much food side of stuff. What are the strategies you use? What's the thing that you realized? What was the thing that made a difference for you to really grow an audience and really get to where you want?
Very good question, man. So the first thing was whatever I was posting, people were coming onto my page. They could lose 5 to 10 pounds for free information. So in reality, you have to think you're giving away so much free information, so many secrets, helping so many people. I mean, I've helped people drop way more than that for free. 20 kilos, I get some stories just from my content. So people are going to press that follow button. So providing that value, if you have the strategies in place and you enjoy what you're actually talking about. But I knew I was never going to get more so noticed through my physique. My physique's decent. It's okay. I'm lean, I'm healthy, but it's not Instagram stand out. And this, I had a conversation with my friend Nick on this, and he was like, Lewis, your nutrition knowledge is really good, man. How you talk about all of these carbohydrates, the proteins, you know, all the nutrients. Why don't you just talk about food? So that's when it all come to start. I was talking about nutrition. This was in London with the content. I had the food on a plate on a mini table talking about food. We was getting okay views. The minute I brought out a board,
and everyone always
the minute I brought out the chopping board, at first it didn't take off. I hit another 3-4 videos. One went viral. The next one went viral. It kept going off. Then the way I was just explaining nutrition about this carbohydrate, you should eat this, less brain fog. That's when it took off for me. But now the chopping board, content has
that and the
has
style, the
has
way
been
you
stolen.
do it, and
Everyone's using it. So
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
original anymore.
Yeah. It's one thing. That's one thing, dude. You were one of the first people I saw do it,
Yeah.
and the way you did was really nice because you would talk about hooks and this and that. It's like, hey, this is it. Like you started right off the bat.
Yes.
I think it's perfect, and it was a really good way. And but people who don't know, by the way, because everyone thinks you just do this for content. If you eat steak every day, you understand why chopping board's part of your life.
Yes.
Because I see you get a lot of comments. Oh my God, this is a chopping board again. Yeah, and it's like.
Yeah.
It's a big part. But dude, this is the thing also about content creation I'll talk to you about. Once you do one thing that's new, everyone and their mother starts using it, doing it, and everything.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you do your own hustle. I appreciate anyone that.
Yeah.
It's fine, but yeah, it was good around Christmas time. That's when it blew off.
That's when it blew
But
up,
now
right?
it's very popular. It's everywhere. But them dudes doing that, fair play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're still helping people.
Now
There's many people to help. So many.
There's mainly you focus on Instagram, I realize, not TikTok and YouTube as much. You do post on YouTube.
I was on TikTok, but I got hacked.
You got hacked?
Yeah, I got hacked. I was on TikTok, but I've got a new one now, but I'm not really recognized on there.
Really?
Yeah, I got
I
hacked.
feel like your content would do great on TikTok.
Yeah, I got hacked. It was doing good, man.
Really?
I had 100.
Really? And you got hacked?
100,000 followers. Yeah, I got hacked.
Do you try, like now you're trying to do it again, and is it working?
We tried
Is it
getting
not-
back the account many times, but we couldn't get it back.
Couldn't get it right?
No. But Instagram's the main one, and Facebook.
And Facebook, really?
Yeah, YouTube
I
soon.
could imagine Facebook. YouTube, I see it, but with YouTube, I'll give you like some pointers because, dude, the way you create content is, I really enjoy it. But this is one thing I realized through my me creating content recently, even though I'm a newbie in this. But like, for example, for my clients, I've been doing it for now close to 2 years. Even though it's been in the doctor niche, it's so funny creating content for doctors because for them, it's like it's like you have to create content in a way. It's such a niche market. Like for them, it's like success is not like 1 million views because it doesn't really exist in their niche. But there's a lot of things I learned. Like, dude, the video I made, right? On TikTok, it did amazing. On Instagram, it did amazing. And on YouTube, it got like, I think less than 1K views.
Right.
I was so confused.
Was this a short or?
It was a short.
Oh,
It was a short. Now,
Okay.
the YouTube videos itself, I know that one's like difficult to obviously get it going, but it was something really interesting for me. This is one thing I realized. It's mostly with the editing style that makes a huge difference for them. For example, the YouTube shorts, the video that went viral in the YouTube shorts for me, not viral, but did well, did horrible on TikTok and Instagram. There's a lot of things I'm realizing. And when it comes down to it, we know there's a different audience on it. But the way that they go about it, there's a lot of interesting things I learned from this. So for example, the way you show the wooden board thing, right?
Yes.
If you just change the font size and style and everything towards how YouTube Shorts are, you're gonna get a lot more results.
Okay.
This is one thing I realized. It was very interesting for me. Like why, like this content was a hit on both platforms, but on this one it did horrible.
Right.
That's one thing I realized. But dude, your content would do. You would get a lot more results on YouTube and everything if you structure it there.
We are moving to YouTube very soon as well. We're going to be doing client transformation series, long form, like 15-minute videos. I'm going to be taking out successful clients through their Superhuman training, Superhuman Diet, a day out, meeting them.
Yeah, I think that would be really
we're going to be
cool.
doing that just to showcase this is the results we're getting, hearing their story, and to inspire others to join and to inspire others with their results, how they look, how they feel. It's all about the message.
One of the ideas I had is before you leave Dubai, we should try one day. I try your lifestyle, just like how you like eat and everything and do it. I think that would be really cool.
We hit it, man.
We tried, and it will create like the perfect like reel and everything for people to like envision like how the life is, and people in Dubai to see how they can do it in Dubai. I think that would be cool. We can talk about that.
We start off with a cold shower, bro.
Literally, we can go to JBR when they have the ice baths and everything.
Okay, we do
I know
that.
a bunch of
That's
people.
the
We can
first
do it
task.
properly.
Yeah.
It'll be dope, man. It'll be really
6:30 up.
Bro, I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah.
Dude, if I tell you what my schedule used to be before, we'll get into, because I have a nice section,
You have
and
a
I think you're
morning
gonna
routine
do. I have a like a very like interesting way. So I haven't talked much about myself, and I think it's interesting for you because the person who's like doing the podcast, I don't think you know much, but I'll just like give you like a.
I don't know
quick
too
thing.
much about you.
Yeah, so I started the podcast 1 month ago.
Okay.
And first video I put out 2 million views, which is so weird. Like in my mentality,
Well
I
done,
took
bro.
a paper.
Well done.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
I
You're
took a
destined for
paper,
this.
bro. Hopefully, man. I don't know. We'll see. I wrote down I'll make 100 videos, and if by the 100 video I
100
don't
rule,
get
you heard of that?
10K,
100 rule? Yeah.
100 rule, right?
Good, nice.
I'm like, if by the 100 video I don't get one video more than 10K views, maybe this is not my thing. And if each one I keep strategizing and it doesn't work,
Yes.
first video put out 2 million, and I'm like,
Wow.
wow. And then me now psychologically I'm confused. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, because I did not expect it at all to be like that. And then it's kind of like, you know how you're saying the WhatsApp messages a lot in the morning, you wake up, it's a little bit overwhelming. Bro, I did not know. Imagine you have a list of people you want to invite on the podcast. They start commenting on the video and you're like, wait, what? It was such, dude, 43,000 people shared it with each other.
Wow.
The video. And for me, like, I've never experienced this, so I didn't know how to do it. Someone invited me on the podcast to talk about the video. I'm like, what's going on?
That's amazing, bro.
So it's
Congrats.
really cool, but I'm dealing with like the idea of like how to go about this. What people don't know, I have a whole business. I have a whole agency I run and everything. I just don't post it on social media because
I don't know. How do you
clients.
monetize? What's your business?
So basically, the reason it took me time to like start the podcast and do it and everything, because I always told people I want to do it for a while, was I didn't have the money and the revenue, because creating content, it's not cheap, right? To have video, there's to have everything. So I have a whole agency. Before, it's 2 years ago. I work with a lot of doctors, and we do everything for them, from like websites, content and everything. But the difference is like from the typical agency, I work directly with doctors, not clinics. Most of the times people work with clinics. I work directly with them. And as you know, for example, when you put out information, right, you need to be very careful with the words you say sometimes, like the McDonald's thing you put, right?
Yes, yeah.
You can get, and now for doctors, it's a whole different story. Like my main client's a cosmetic dermatologist. Shout out to Dr. Anna. But they need to be extra careful because, for example, Dubai, if you put out the wrong information, you can really get into trouble, like legal wise and everything.
Okay.
And so the way I create content for them is a very calculated approach. It's not only good for them, like it will get results, but it will always be accurate information, which is an offhand approach. And the reason why I'm telling, because I think you'll find this really interesting, because like as someone, like, you know, you have a lot of like business stuff going on, you're very busy, don't have a lot of time, right? Now imagine a doctor. If I do good digital marketing for a doctor, they're fully booked. Now if they're fully booked, they don't have time. They have a family to take care of and everything. So how do you create content for someone who does not have any time? That's what I focused on. Those are the solutions I found.
To help them market more further?
Market them themselves in the way the way it works is you only spend 4 hours per month and you get the best content out there. So 2 hours of it goes into doing just one podcast where you get like 15 videos out of it.
Got it.
And I made like very good edits for them. And then the other one is while they're doing their stuff, I get their nurses to take the videos for them. And I have a whole structure where I have people in the team that edit the videos and everything. They go check scientific journals, take the information there, so it's not just like a ChatGPT thing. So that's like what I usually what I do, and that's what I monetize. And now I'm going into like the clinics, but since the success of the first few clips I did for the podcast, and I'm like, okay, maybe I got something here, the way I think about stuff. Now I'm segmenting more towards like outside of like the doctor's niche, going more towards like the nutrition stuff, to this, getting a client that's fully focused on this and taking it from there. Because I realize my clients, there's a plateau for them. But for example, like in your niche or other people, there isn't a plateau. You can keep growing. Like now you're going into YouTube. After YouTube, there's something else.
Yeah.
You can come up with the book. That's really exciting for me. So that's like where I'm heading into, which the reason, by the way, I'm mentioning is because now I want to go into the other part, because not only do you have an amazing diet, amazing approach, you're helping a lot of people, but you're running a good business too at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? So what are the different ways you generate income out of this? Do you want to talk about that? I don't know if you've ever talked about anything.
Okay, so yeah, the initial, we have the one offer. We have it very simple. It is a full coaching program for the Superhuman Body and Health. And it's a body transformation program that is transforming men and women worldwide, transforming their mental and physical fitness. We've got a very large team, everyone in their own sectors, to help and manage the clients through this process, and how we operate and what we track, all of the metrics to ensure they get their result and the reason why they've joined our program. So that is the offer. We only have the one offer.
The one offer. That's
that is the one source.
And dude, amazing
One
results.
source,
Honestly, when I check the stuff, some of the clients and they put their stories and everything,
Yes.
amazing results. And
Yeah.
again, as I said before, the way you create content, that's why I followed you in the first place. I always get to know, okay, I can eat that. I can eat this through a natural format, to a natural
Yes.
way.
Yes.
So that's amazing. But now, I don't know if you want to do this part or not, but do you want to share some insight on like how much, or like a ballpark of how much you make? Because you're traveling a lot. It's a very successful business. Do you want to share some insight?
Okay, when it comes to figures, not too much. We won't get into the details there.
Yeah.
But we have over 300 clients.
Mm-hmm. Over 300 clients.
Over 300 clients.
That's good.
And 24 staff members. 24.
Because look, I have an idea for you, okay?
But figures we will keep low for now. Yeah.
But people can imagine, you know, how much it is. And certainly very successful individual, right? But I think, honestly, to a certain degree, because you built a successful business not only through content, out of this, you can also start coaching on that part. And I feel like that's a whole nother revenue stream for you. For example, in Dubai, we have a lot of personal trainers. They don't know how to monetize their audience. They don't know how to help out. I think that's a whole nother side of things for you.
I have thought about it, but I have to, for the future, I feel like where the mission is and my values, right? I think if I started,
because it's very gray area,
if I started that to help people scale and other coaches, I could definitely help them for sure. But is it my passion yet? That I don't think. I feel like I have to. My passion at the moment is full Superhuman Diet based. We want to help thousands of clients worldwide. We want to keep growing because we know it works. All of our clients are thriving. They're getting results. So now it's just 10x in that more further. We've really boomed the business, really gone up. But it's 10x in that at the moment. And then maybe my passion will change later on.
It's really smart for you to niche.
Do I want, if I was going into that now, it's just more following just cash aspects.
Exactly.
Not my true heart, my true values. My true values at the minute is helping as many people on the protocol. So I have to align with that rather than chase the finances at the moment. But my goals may change.
Yeah, obviously.
And that is a very good business.
Yeah.
Of course,
dude, this is like literally
B2B work, kind of. Yeah.
And because the way you went about it, like, I feel like initially you didn't copy people. You just went and created like the content the way you thought it's good and found a way to make it work.
Yeah.
I think one of the ways you can do it is the different coaches you have. You can, like, that could be part of the process where if you're a personal trainer, you would join the program to learn how the Superhuman Diet works, to get it to your audience. And there'll be a revenue share thing. I think that's a cool way you can go about it. And then this way the message goes out even bigger.
Yeah, that's it. And the brand still grows.
So people would not only come to you to only fix, because I think something you realize, maybe people that you help with their transformations, they would also want to help other people.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So that's a way it could get connected.
We want their story to inspire others. That's what we want. We want the story to continue and just boom
I
up.
see. So now I want to give your people who are watching, I'm sure there's many people, you know, they'll come from your Instagram to watch the video and they want to know, how does it feel like to get a one-on-one coaching or to get advice from you? So now I'm actually going to create a very nice scenario. Okay.
Let's go for it.
So I'm going to tell you, okay, now obviously I know usually with the coaching there's like a lot of sessions and everything, but I just want to give people like an idea for them to get a feel of how it is. So I'm going to tell you the things like I'm dealing with, the things that are difficult for me.
Okay.
And you let me know what your opinion is or like how you would like advise me if you liked. Okay. I think it's a cool concept. So basically I started with Carnivore, got really good results. Everything was going so well, but then COVID happened. And it was hard for me initially to go on Carnivore. My whole life, it was BS diets, like a lot of rice, kebabs and stuff like that. It didn't make sense. Yeah. I didn't have a lot of protein in my diet. I think that's one of the big issues. And I can binge eat as much as you can. I can go to a buffet. When I go to a buffet, they know they're not making money. Like that's how it was. Yeah. Carnivore was amazing. But then because of COVID, and I went back to Canada, COVID, dude, imagine like it was, you can buy pans because they considered non-essential items. So I literally couldn't cook the steak. I had to like order from restaurants. It was too expensive. So then I stopped. Once I stopped, it got really bad. Got like a little bit of a, not like a food disorder situation, but it wasn't, because it's really hard to go back on these diets and do it properly. But then the animal-based diet thing started trending, you know. That's when I started following you, started following the guy Joey, started following more Dr. Paul, you know exactly what he's saying. But I'll tell you the issues that I'm facing, because I am trying to go with this approach more with it. When you mentioned sourdough, I saw you put a video. I tried it. It was interesting, but then but Dr. Paul, talking about it, and I'm like, this, you know, it gets confusing.
There's a lot of
But
reviews. Yeah.
the first thing I want to ask you, the main thing I struggle with is getting most of the calories in. For example, getting to
What are your goals though when it's aligned with calories?
most important thing for me is this, because I run a whole business. I have like 10 people on my team,
Okay.
and every day there's the clients and everything. Most important thing, honestly, dude, like my body, it's like, obviously I don't want to be like I don't want to have a shit body, but the most important thing is having the mental clarity.
Okay.
It's so important for me, man.
So when you say getting the calories in,
Mm-hmm.
are you only eating one meal a day? Like what are you?
I tried one meal, but then
Okay.
I couldn't eat enough, or if I feel like if I ate a lot, I would feel bloated, and it takes away the whole idea
Yeah. Yeah.
of it. I tried one meal in the morning. That one was interesting.
What is your current schedule?
So my current schedule is like this, the way that I'm doing it. I wake up and I try to have like a very animal based like diet. Have some rice. I don't like touch any
Do you have rice
electronics
in
or
the morning?
anything. I have rice in the morning. I
Okay.
tried, because what ends up happening is if I have it after my workout, then like all the effects go away. So if I have it before my workout, I'm good.
Okay.
That's what I'm realizing, because working out in the middle of the day, for me, it doesn't work. Like as you can see right now, I'm talking. Does it feel like this with the clients? Did they feel confused the way they explained it, or no?
No, not at all.
Not at all. When they're explaining like their schedule and stuff, is a little bit like they explained in a way that they're confused. Because I am confused. I'm gonna be honest with you.
So you train
between-
in the morning fasted or not? Or do you train? So you eat a
I
meal.
don't.
What
train
time do you eat?
fasted.
8 a.m.
I eat usually around like 8 a.m.
Okay.
I eat around that time. Then I have in 1 hour and 30 minutes, I go for a workout. If I'm not working out in the morning, I don't eat.
Okay. Then you eat again at what? 1 o'clock?
I eat around, after the
12?
workout,
Okay.
but it's very like it's carnivore based
Okay.
after the workout.
So at 11 a.m.
Yeah,
Then you eat at
Around
what?
12.
4 o'clock
4 o'clock last time, and I always try to make it carnivore, but somehow rice always comes in the middle of
that's your last. So that's your last meal.
last meal.
So the struggle is, you said, getting your calories in. Or
Getting enough calories in a way, protein,
Nutrients.
protein specifically, trying to get the right amount. I feel like I'm so used to the bad ways of like dieting and having a lot of carbs and not enough protein that when I try to add it in, I just like it doesn't work too well.
Okay. So these are the switches that I would make straight away for you. Okay. So firstly, what I want you to experiment and what I want you to try, because you're training so early, don't eat. Don't eat in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want you to experiment a fasted workout.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to experiment, but I want you to preload your workout with Celtic salt and maybe a black coffee if you do like some caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to train fasted and just see how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
If that session isn't great, bear in mind you've had your Celtic salt and you've had your coffee. The next day, I don't want you to eat the rice again. I want you to just have some honey,
Mm-hmm.
20 to 30 grams, with 1 banana or 1.5, with the salt, black coffee and water again.
Mm-hmm.
Just that because you're training that early.
Mm-hmm.
Remove the rice and remove the chicken. You don't need the proteins pre-workout. We can get this after.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to experiment that. So try the fasted first,
Mm-hmm.
and then experiment the low starch.
Mm-hmm.
Post-workout, still don't bring in the rice. I don't want you to bring in the rice
Mm-hmm.
or any carbohydrates. Bring in your meats, your eggs or your steaks,
Mm-hmm.
a high amount, and bring in a banana or an orange or an apple, a couple of these, around 40 to 50 gram of carbohydrates.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I want you to utilize. I want you to experiment keeping that starch low
Mm-hmm.
throughout the day, and that means not as much rice. It sounds like you're eating a lot of rice.
Mm-hmm.
Rice is great carbohydrates, getting in your calories for the day. It's very low in nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
Very low in nutrients, and I'm strong you can get in your vitamins and minerals elsewhere,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to be missing a lot of vitamin K2. Are you getting in any blackberries?
Sometimes.
We want to bring these in on a daily.
Mostly blueberries.
Blueberries, okay.
Yeah.
But vitamin K, very essential, and blackberries, very high hair.
Mm-hmm.
So post-workout, I'd have 40 to 50 gram of carb. I'd have like a ribeye, maybe a couple of eggs with that.
Mm-hmm.
Bring in an apple, banana, maybe some blackberries there as well.
Sometimes you eat the
2
minced
pieces
beef
of fruit.
with berries.
Yes.
Do that.
Yes.
How is that?
Delicious.
Really?
Delicious.
It works, yeah?
At the beginning, if people are switching over straight away, it could be very difficult because I'm used to these foods now.
Yeah.
I crave raw meats.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned to
like
you.
raw liver. You eat raw liver?
I eat raw liver. I eat raw meat sometimes, but I'd never post it.
Yeah.
'Cause
But the raw liver does
I'll
it
just
help?
get a lot of crap on the
Yeah.
comments. But I do for sometimes with my cravings, so I keep that on the low.
I see.
I posted that I eat eggshells as well.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
No, what's that?
Yeah, I got crazy comments on that. So I
Yeah.
keep that sort of stuff separate.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I need to.
Do you eat raw eggs?
Yeah, sometimes as well with raw milk for a great protein shake.
Really?
I would recommend raw milk for you as well.
Yeah,
Post
but
work
it's
if
not
you can't get
here.
access.
God damn, dude.
So I'd recommend pulling
feel
out the
like-
rice.
Yeah.
We won't put in rice for clients in the mornings or lunch.
Yeah.
If you want rice in the evening, have it. But it's very low in nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
You want to bring up your vitamin K levels, your vitamins and minerals. So blueberries, blackberries, banana post-workout.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the afternoon again, maybe some more eggs, more blackberries, kiwis. Leave the rice till that last meal. Experiment that.
Should I count the calories in the beginning or not? Don't worry about it.
Counting calories, it's a very good aspect, very good subject. Of course, they will come into play in some area. Like, of course, people can't eat 5,000-6,000 calories and get lean. But who do we know that's got really fat off eating meat and eggs and fruit? So this is the aspect of choosing foods rather than counting calories.
You do it the bad way, like the bad way we overeat, but when it comes to the good way, we think about it, right?
Yes.
But then under eating, I feel like would be the problem. Like,
Do you feel like you're under eating?
most of the times, because what ends up happening when I feel so good, I would go on literally for 12 hours. I'll get into the flow of work, and I would forget completely about.
And then
food.
when you eat, is it because some people eat like 2 eggs for breakfast? Is it like that?
It's like.
So I had 8 this morning. That's how we want it. How much do you weigh?
Me, I weigh 80 kilograms.
Yes, you need to be feeding the body enough energy.
Yeah.
And it's about filling up your nutrient targets. That's what we focus on.
I think hitting the
calories
protein
come into
target
that.
is the toughest part for me. Like, I can't eat a whole steak at once. I can eat half a steak. It's weird.
Okay.
But I feel like the more I do it, the better that can get. And then the other part is like, dude, so my younger brother stays with me. So the diets for the family, my family visits from time to time. That's one thing I think complicates things. Because as you know, when you switch over the diet, the cravings are insane. Especially for bread. Dude, that's the part for me. Like that, those are the things that are complicated. But I'll apply the things you mentioned. I'll let you know how it goes. But for me, so I have ADHD, and I think my vitamin D levels are very low. That's one thing that I can't, like, there's something like with my blood. When I went to the doctor, they told me blah, 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 this, that. The only time I felt perfect was carnivore. That was the only time, like, dude, I'm telling you, it was insane. Like, I could finish, like, I think 2 weeks of work in like one day. It was crazy. I've never experienced something like that. And the way I talk, the way I communicate, everything's different.
Yes.
And the one big problem I have is I'm not funny. I'm on the carnivore diet. So when it comes to like the funny podcast or the funny content, it makes it very. I'm so like.
You're serious?
Because I'm so.
Mentally
it's
sharp.
crazy. It's crazy, and I feel like people don't know what that feels like most of the times. Like when you mention like.
You're essentially fat adapted. Yeah. You're running off ketones with minimal carbs.
But then when I work out, it goes well together.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you for the advice. I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah.
And I think that was amazing for people to like have an idea of like how it feels, just get advice straight up and everything the way you give it.
Yeah.
Now, the last thing, okay, I want to talk about. So what are the future plans? What are the future projects? You mentioned briefly you want to segment to YouTube, but is there anything else you want to mention for people to like be looking towards or forward to?
Yeah, so it's essentially just expanding the brand. We have some new projects coming out. I'm not going to share too many details just yet, but on how we want to expand and help our current clients and then future clients. But the main focus is, of course, just expanding the one offer we have, taking that up to 1,000 clients, and expanding the company, expanding the message, continuing growing, just reaching, because we're reaching thousands of new people every day, and it's just continuing and doing that. And then expanding the brand later on, maybe some products.
Yeah, products and stuff. That would be huge.
But that needs, we're in some context with that at the moment, but it needs to be perfect, finalized, and actually going to make an impact and help.
What do you think? Do you have an idea of what the product could be, or not? Any idea of what they could be?
Yeah, products that are going to help people with nutrient deficiencies, for one, to bring those levels up. And a product where people can't bring in and reach their protein targets for the day. We want to bring out something that's going to help them there. But we must make sure, it's all sourced correctly. Everything's right.
It's a whole business behind it. Getting it done right.
Everything tastes good.
Yeah.
And it actually gets results.
Yeah.
So it can't be rushed.
It's tough. We don't want to turn into the big Pharma.
No.
You want to do it.
It's having something to be proud of constantly. That actually works. And then everything else comes with that.
Also, he did this meat thing.
I see a reel on that.
That one. But then they struggle to keep the prices low. There's for example, the crisps, the meat crisps is not him.
There's carnivore bars as well.
Yeah, the carnivore bars.
Yeah.
But then
apparently they're really expensive.
Yeah. And they're not in the Middle East at all.
It's going to be a lot for the company to...
Yeah, for sure. Especially in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
But that's why getting the right partners and really talking to the right people for this, it would be really good. But, okay. So last thing, first of all, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. But there's this thing we do with the guests each time.
Okay.
It's this cool thing because I'm trying to figure out, the more I do them, I'm trying to figure out what that thing would be. So I want you to look at the camera. Okay. This one, yeah. And talk to yourself 1 year into the future, because I'm going to post this exact video as a reel.
Okay.
And ask yourself 5 things. So imagine you're talking to your future self and ask them 5 things. So for example, when people we usually make goals. Now this one's not really the same thing, but you would put, okay, in 1 year I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But now the way we're doing it, it's you're talking to yourself in the future, and then I'm going to post the video 1 year, same day. And then you respond to yourself in the comments. Does that make sense? It's an interesting concept.
So it's not going to be posted on the podcast?
No, it will be on the full podcast, but I'll make it real.
Okay.
And I'll post it 1 year into the future. So for example, if you say right now, in 1 year, we're going to have this product, and you talk about, there was a guy, he talked to me as a DJ, talked to me about, he's going to come out with this many songs. But then 1 year in the future, when I post it, the people in the comments are going to be did he do it? Did he not? And he'll come in and respond. He'll be like, I did this. I did actually end up doing that. I just think it's an interesting concept. It's a little bit complicated, the way I'm trying to do it, because I'm figuring it out
You may
myself.
have to re-explain. So 5 things.
Just 5 things. Imagine right now, we bring you 1 year into
5
the
of
future.
my goals.
It could be anything. Ask yourself literally 5 things. Tell yourself. You can tell yourself, we're going to build the business to 7 figures. We could, are we doing this? Are we doing that? I'll tell you what I did, for example. So the first episode I did, the concept wasn't 1 year into the future. It was 5 years. So I looked at the camera and I asked myself, I'm like, are we married? We should be. Did you finally get married? And then I asked, did the podcast reach 100K views or not? Because it's the best way. It's imagine you can travel into the future and ask yourself these questions.
Okay.
It's a cool concept.
Yeah. Okay.
Did I explain it good? Did that make sense?
Kind of.
My bad. I'm picking up, man. So my bad on that
kind
one.
of there.
But I'm figuring it out. Hopefully one day I'll have the perfect way to explain it.
Okay.
Yeah. So look at the camera. Ask yourself
are we ready?
5 things. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I talked to myself, Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis.
Okay. So Lewis, did you find your perfect partner that you want to spend the rest of your life with? Lewis, did you reach 1,000 clients active within your program? Lewis, did you reach 1 million followers on Instagram? Lewis, did you expand and 10x the business like you said you would? Lewis, did you take full care of your whole family, how you've written down in your book?
See, it's amazing. Because
how was that?
It was really good.
That was straight off the bat.
Yeah, because what's really cool about it, and why I want to start the podcast in the first place, is dude, 10 years in the future, 20 years in the future, dude, my kids, my kids' kids and everything, they can always go back. Mm-hmm. They can be oh, that's That's how we started and everything. And what's so cool about this one is like 1 year, because time flies. I'll
1 year's
post
a
the
lot
reel.
of progress.
Yeah, I'll post the video, and then you'll be like, oh, Kash tagged me. What's going on over here? And you're like, oh, the video. And then you literally go in the comments, be like, I did end up doing this. I did. And why do I love this? Because the more guests I get on, then it's going to be a thing where every 2 weeks, I'm going to be posting a video of people talking. And I'm hoping if I get it right and I explain it and I have a proper structure behind it, because I told you, start with 5 years into the future. And I was like, no, I don't want to post it 5 years. Let me just do it
It's a very
1
good
year.
concept. I like it.
If it works, then every 2 weeks, people check it and they'll be like, huh, okay, but who is he? Why is he talking about this? Let's go and check the videos. So if it doesn't work now, 1 year in the future, it could work. It's an interesting concept. I just have to figure out more.
I like it.
But thank you for coming on the podcast. It was amazing. Thank you for responding to the DM and everything.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for this. I'm sure people are going to get a lot of value out of this and everything. I'm going to put all his details in the description, from the coaching, Instagram and everything. Hit him up. Amazing conversation, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Kash, man. I appreciate it.
That's great.